Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and you are here at the It's All Good Show. And today is another in our EESystem Center Owners interview series. And I've got, today is an exciting one. I mean, they're all exciting. But today, this couple has a very unique setup for their EE system in North Carolina. So I'd like to go ahead and introduce Karen and John Michaels. Welcome to the It's All Good Show.
Thanks for having us, Dr. Dream.
Yes, thanks for having us.
And so, first off, I guess, because I've already said it's a unique situation and everything, why don't you give us an idea of how everything is set up there? Because this is the first for me of being exposed to something that's incorporated in the way that you've set it up. So explain to us what you've got going.
Well, do you want me to start?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start. We moved to North Carolina 10 years ago this summer, and we bought this big farmhouse. And we didn't know what we were going to do with it, so I opened a B&B. And so when we got involved with EESystem, we took one of our main master suites that are on the first floor with a private entrance out, and we put the EESystem Center in. So that's basically how it's set up. So there's a bed and breakfast here, there's an EE system here, and there's a lot of love here.
Yep. We mainly did it too. We did it because it's we set it up like a gym membership. We didn't want to be tied to having to be at a place all the time. We do a lot of different things. So with this unit, we have a private entrance. And when you sign up for a membership, you get a code to the door that's unique to you. You schedule online. We have a credit card on file, and you come and go as you please. And it's kind of like an honor system because we have a little store out front, but we're like-minded people. So everybody comes and goes, and it works out great for everybody. We can go away on a Saturday for a little road trip or something, and we could have numerous customers come and go while we're here or while we're away. So it's kind of nice.
Sounds like a great arrangement. Now, tell me, how did you first come into the awareness of EESystem and get involved in wanting to bring this into offering it in your community?
I'll let you take that one.
Okay, well,
because you did the initial research.
Yeah. Well, we in about 6 years ago now. That you got sick?
No, it's 4.
Okay, so 4 years ago, we were traveling to visit my daughter in Louisville, Kentucky, and we got in on a Thursday evening, and Friday morning, Karen had an excruciating headache, which she does not get headaches. So we went into the local hospital, which was basically just down the road, and they whisked her off into emergency brain surgery. She had a brain bleed caused by a leaking aneurysm. So we spent 21 days in ICU. That was our vacation. So she came out just fine, we thought. But 2 years later, during COVID, we had a lot of meetings here with a group of about 25 people that were like-minded. It was kind of a support group, if you will. Someplace they could go without wearing masks and what have you. So during that time, we had guest speakers come in, and one of them was a guest speaker from a local company called Brainwise, and they did brain mapping. So we learned about that, and then we thought, you know what? Why don't we go and have it done and just check it out? So Karen and I both went in, and to my surprise, I was totally normal. Karen had some issues left to right, but we found out about it. And then basically at the same time, and this is how God works with us, things happen a lot at one time for us. But we had heard about EESystem through another friend of ours, that there was this center that you could come in and magic happened. So we started to research it. And it turns out that when I started to look at them, I found a center in Kentucky, not an hour from my daughter's house. So we scheduled to go there on our next trip out, which we did. That was Sean at can't remember
it's Energy.
Zenergy. They've moved now, but they're in around. I think they're in Lexington, Kentucky, but they just moved a mile or so away. But anyway, great people. We set up a 2-hour schedule. We went there, and Karen had a miraculous experience. She knew that something in her whole body or mind had shifted. Myself, I didn't really feel anything right at the start, and I wasn't worried about it. I knew that this isn't always for everybody to happen immediately. But anyway, when we came back, we went for brain mapping again, and this time Karen went in, and we found out that her left to right activity, however they measure it, was 52% better with her eyes open and 49% with them closed. And that was just after a 2-hour session. So we decided to bring that to our community. And to be perfectly honest with you, at first I thought about the money we were going to make because I'm a businessman. And I thought, they were charging $60 an hour when we first started, but we had paid Sean $30 an hour, which I'm kind of cheap. So I thought that was a great deal and we would open at that. But, you start to put the numbers together in your head and it's like, okay, we have 10 chairs, $30 an hour, $60 an hour, whatever. You're going to be wealthy. Well, it doesn't work that way. As I started to research this, something came upon me, and I'm sure it was God, that, quit with the money, worry about how you can help people. And that's the journey that we decided to go on. And we're not too worried about the money. We're probably the least expensive center in the nation, but we help a lot of people. And a lot of our people are on fixed incomes. So they wouldn't be able to afford to come for $60 or $70 an hour. So it's in our home. It hasn't raised our overhead much. So we just have people come and go, and it works out wonderful for us. But beyond that, we opened a center, and we've been going for 2 years now. And it was busy for a while, but now everything's slow. But I think everything's slow in the country at the moment. But we are in a bed and breakfast as well. So we offer packages where you can come and stay overnight. You can either stay in the scalar room or you can have a room in the lodge and then, have your time at the scalar room. And we cook a nice breakfast and what have you. So it is unique to a lot of the folks out there. Although I believe there are some bed and breakfasts out there that are doing the same thing.
Now, do you have people that come in for the bed and breakfast totally unaware about the EE system and then want to experience it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have flyers we have a cottage out back. We put flyers in there and in the rooms, and then they get excited about it. And of course, breakfast is talking about it and talking about experiences that we've had. So if they don't become a client, we've spread the word, and then they go to another center. Mm-hmm. So it works out for everybody, I think.
I love that. I think that is. I really like that. We've been to 38 different centers around the United States in our own outreach of doing sacred sounds and scalar energy experiences. And there's a couple things that I really love about your setup. And one of them is that it's where you live. And so you're not having to go to the office or the center several miles away or anything like that. It's right there where you're at. I also, we've seen a lot of setups with towers and this, that, and the other thing. I love the monitors around up at the ceiling.
Yep.
I think that is, maybe it's because not the majority of the centers aren't that way. So it's more unique. Mm-hmm. But I just love the feeling of it. A center that we're involved in Whitewater, Kansas, have their monitors around the ceiling also, and it feels like it's a great energetic. It also makes for a lot of space. So you actually have 10 of those comfortable chairs like you're sitting on right there.
Actually, we have different kinds of chairs, and
Yeah.
we have a couple that fold out into beds. But I think we have I think we have around 8 of them, and then we have a massage chair that we let people use. You know, one of the you used to pay
Sure.
for them in the malls. You know,
Right, right.
but we have that in here, and they can use that for free if they want to come in and do it. You know, so that works out kind of nice.
Now, 2 years later, I mean, you got results right away, Karen, when you did this, and now here we are 2 years later. It's in your home, so I imagine that you two spend some extra time in the energies. What have you noticed beyond that initial shift for yourselves? What have you noticed 2 years in?
Well, for me, I have noticed just a general overall better feeling of well-being and clarity in life in general. Um, I used to be one of these people that would, never want to rock the boat or always, just kind of sit back and stay out of the trouble and,
Under the radar.
under the radar. And now I feel like if I have something that I'm really passionate about or something that I am not passionate about that I am witnessing, I will actually speak up. And
Oh boy, did she speak up!
I never used to do that. Never. And I am creative by nature. My background is an interior designer. So when John said we're going to do the center, I was all about designing the center, but I didn't really think about the business part of it or any of the other things that go with it. I don't know if you're aware, but I am the admin of the international page for owners. So I started that page, and man, that's like drinking from a fire hose, trying to keep up with everybody that's coming and going from the page and asking questions. And so like I got involved in that part of the business. John kind of handles all of the other mechanics like processing the credit cards and interviewing new clients when they're coming in. So it's a very interesting business. Neither one of us have ever done anything related to holistic health.
No, it was all
Ever.
new to us.
Yeah, so it's a big learning curve, and I think a lot of people that have a passion for this um, and have a background in holistic health, they're a little bit ahead of the game. We had the business component, but we didn't have the holistic health component, other than maybe some holistic things that I had done in the past. But when you have a real scare like that in your own personal health, where you either know you're going into surgery and you're going to either meet your maker or you're going to come through it, that really also can, I think, change the way you see things a lot. And then as I said, the EE system, I felt that shift at Sean's center. And when I came out of that room, Sean looked at me and he said, "So how do you feel?" Because he knew my story. And I said, "I feel amazing, Sean." And he said, "That's great, Karen." And we've kept in touch and we've been back to see them. So when we were talking about the center and our system being up above us, and that's how Sean's system is set up as well. And he had 8 at that time, which is what we have. And I really liked the fact that the 8 sideways is the infinity symbol. So we were really drawn to have 8, and it fit in our room perfectly. And I had such a miraculous experience in an 8-unit system. That's why we chose 8. So
I think 8 too, especially since ours are bolted to the wall. We made custom shelves to bolt ours to the wall, so they don't move. And if you have 12 or 24, they're on the racks that are on the floor. And in my opinion only, there's vibrations in a house that you don't necessarily feel. But those units can easily go out of skew from where they're supposed to be. So I would rather have 8 units that I know are on spot than 12 or 24 that could be or could not be, because there's no way to really prove it except for the customers that are coming in and feeling it. And we have customers that come in and they'll know if we've readjusted anything or we've realigned. They know right away.
It's funny.
It's really is odd because I don't feel anything at all. People ask me what I feel after having it for 2 years, and I just feel good. I feel I have a good outlook on life. I'm just a lot more positive than I ever was. So I think that there's a lot of things it does for us that we don't even realize. When we went to the center for the first time, halfway back, I realized that my hand didn't hurt anymore. And prior to going there, I had arthritis in my fingers, and I was constantly soaking them in water, cold water, while I was watching TV. But I said on the way back, my fingers don't hurt anymore, and they've never hurt since. So whatever it did it permanently. So, it's really cool. You don't notice right away what things happen.
So share with us, while we're talking about testimonials and some of the things that have happened to the two of you, what are some of the testimonials you've gotten from your clients that have been coming to you?
We have 2 good ones, and I don't mean to do all the talking, but
you can
we have 2 good ones. My favorite is we had a 2-year-old Great Dane come in
within the first
2 weeks we opened, and the gentleman that owned them was in our group that we had during COVID, but his dog got into rat poison somehow. And if you know what rat poison does, it thins out your blood to where your organs all bleed out. So they woke up in the morning and the dog's belly was all blue spots. So they took him to the vet. The vet took a blood test and said, he's got no blood platelets. You have to take him home and just let him die. There's nothing you can do. So we heard about it from somebody else, and I called him and I said, why don't you come over to the center? I don't know what it does. We've only opened a couple of weeks, but bring him over. And when he came over, their dog had not eaten solid food in 2 days, and the only water that they got into him was from a turkey baster. So he came in, he laid in the middle of the room, and his owner said,
why is he sitting in the middle of the room?
He doesn't lay in the middle of the room anywhere. He's always against the wall or against a piece of furniture. But in our room, the center is where it all comes together, and he just laid down and fell asleep. And we started talking, and 2 hours went by, and in the 3rd hour, he got up, he looked at his owner like he was thirsty, he drank 2 bowls of water, he ate 6 cheese peanut butter crackers, a 1/4 pound of ground beef, he went outside, took a dump, and came back in and laid back down.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
I just said, he's not done. So we had them stay overnight. And long story short, that dog is 2 years older now, and he's happy and healthy. So all his blood platelets came back, and it was, that's my miracle. I think that's just awesome because we could prove it. And also speaking of proving, on our website, Karen's before and after brain scans are published on our website, and you can see exactly, and anybody that knows anything about them can see the physical change in her brain from one to the next, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then the other one was
we have the other dog that came that got its rabies shot.
Oh yeah.
And it had an adverse reaction to its rabies shot.
A 3-year rabies shot.
And the owner spent close to $3,000 within 24 hours of that shot trying to determine what had happened to his dog. No vet even suggested that it could have been a reaction to the shot.
Right.
And so one of our other clients heard about it, and she says, I know these people that have this play at the center, and I know that they saved a dog from rat poison. Maybe it could detox this rabies reaction. So in came another dog, and it was a Labradoodle. So
and when we started, Karen said, no pets.
We have our own pet. We have our own pet.
We have our own pet, and he's a marker. So we have to be careful about who we bring in, But, when someone brings a dog in that's sick, what do? I mean, we're the kind of people that we couldn't turn a dog away. I couldn't turn anybody away.
Gosh, no.
You know?
But he was only here with his Labradoodle for a 2-hour session, and she appeared much better when she left than when she came in. And John checked in the morning and called. He said, "You go ahead. Tell me what he said."
He said, "My dog is fine. Absolutely, you guys are miracle workers." But we don't want to take any of the credit for it, because what this does is it creates an environment that allows your body or your dog's body to heal the way God intended it to. Because everything that's alive was intended to be able to heal itself with the environment. And we've just screwed up the environment as people. This isn't what it was like when Adam and Eve was around by any means.
No longer the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
But now getting to human testimonials, I will let you tell him about Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Bill,
you had the most contact with Bill.
Bill called me on the phone, and he had Parkinson's. And the first time Bill came in, he shuffled in, just a little shuffle in, and he was shaking. And Bill's a great guy. I would say he's probably in his 70s. Mm-hmm. And he came in for 4 2-hour sessions for 4 weeks. And when he walked out the last time, he had a 30-inch gait and a smile from ear to ear. I called him a week later and I said, are you going to come back? And he said, "I don't need to. I'll call you if I do, but I don't need to." So, they say you can't say it heals, but I don't know what that is if it's not healing. If we improved his quality of life, which we know we did, we healed him as far as we're concerned. And then the last one that I want to share with you is we have a good friend that her dog got cancer, and she came every night. We have two. We have Angela too, but we have Beth came with her dog Charlie, and he had cancer. And I said, Beth, just come as much as you want. You got a key to the door, a code to the door. Just come and go, because she worked in the area, so she would come in a lot. And she was also at that time scheduled to have knee surgery. She played tennis almost every day, and her knee was going out. So Charlie didn't make it, unfortunately, but she felt that we improved his quality of life for at least 2 or 3 months longer than what the vet said he would live. But as a byproduct of that, she never had to have knee surgery. So she healed herself while she was here taking care of her dog. So that's pretty cool. And then the last one we'll share with you, because I know we don't have a ton of time, but we could go on and on and on. And I know all the centers can. We only talk about what happens here, not what happens at other centers. But
so we have a gal that we've known for a very long time that is my chicken sitter. Yeah. The name of our bed and breakfast is the Silly Chickens Lodge, because we have silly chickens. They do really funny things. And John and I always say, "Look at this silly chicken." So that's why we called it the Silly Chicken Lodge. So a lot of people ask that question. That's why I just answered it before you asked it. So Angela was our chicken sitter, and she is a teacher, and she had been teaching at one of the schools in the area for a few years, and she started to have some health issues. And they weren't sure what was happening with her. She suspected it was something to do with the building she was working in. And so she started a series of appointments with specialists and trying to find out what was going on with her and why she was so fatigued all the time. And then we opened the center, and she started coming to the center. And about the same time, it kind of was happening all simultaneously. She got some blood work back that was pretty scary. And they were up in the mountains. The plan was that that once this blood work came back, she would possibly need to have a transfusion. This is what the doctor suspected. So they were up in the mountains, and she got the call, and they said, "Are you near a hospital?" The results came back, and you're really low, and we really think you need to get either back home so that we can get you in here, or you need to go and
Get a transfusion.
So she chose to come home, and
we closed the center.
And she decided to sleep in the center for 3 nights and see what happened. Well, she never needed the transfusion.
She also, sidebar, she also was having a hard time getting pregnant. She got pregnant. I'm not saying she got pregnant in our center, but I think that our center allowed her body to adjust so that she could get pregnant. Mm-hmm. And everybody's healthy and they're happy.
Her diagnosis in the medical profession was pernicious anemia. So it's a very low level of, I believe, iron in the body, and it is more common in women than men. And it's something to do with the B vitamins. Your body doesn't absorb them. And so whatever the system does, it corrected that for her. And she delivered a healthy baby boy. And I mean, her testimonial is on our YouTube channel. So it's on there.
She goes a mile a minute. She's always busy.
She is always, she's always on the go. But coincidentally, after, she went through all of this, and she found out that where she was working, the building had mold. So she doesn't know if that's tied in to it or not. But, if she had a mold toxicity, it probably detoxed that out of her as well. So, the body's an amazing thing. And if we just give it what it needs, it can do amazing things.
And that's really key, because the EESystem energy allows us to get back to or recharge or bring everything up to the level that it needs to be so the healing can happen.
Right.
And it's amazing. And I love these testimonials. Now, I have to ask, in your own situation and with the situations of other people that have come there, do you have any advice on how people can leverage this at the highest level? I know earlier when we talked, we talked about prayer just very briefly. And so like what are, in addition to that, or you can expand on that, what are ways that people can get the most out of this?
Well,
it's very spiritual.
For me, it's very spiritual, and I do not hide that from my clients. They know that coming in. If I'm here and they meet me, I'm very open. I tell them, God probably has a plan. That's why you're here. And please, when you're in the room, feel comfortable to pray. Ask Him for whatever it is that you feel you need. Yep. And, God willing, you're going to receive it. And I swear that this technology goes out and finds these people and they come here. I'll sit in here and pray, please bring me whoever needs to come here. And then I'll get some strange person that'll say, I was told to pull in here. Like they just pull in and come to the door. That's happened a few times. It's really, at first it kind of takes you off guard. But, if you truly believe that this is a spiritual process and a spiritual awakening, this can do amazing things. And these centers, I believe, truly are going to be the future of helping people with so many things, detoxing people, helping people with anxiety, stress. You can come in this room and within 5 minutes, my clients are out, because I'll peek through the door and I'll just
sound asleep. Yep.
So, so those are kind of
Of course, that might have something to do with the gas we put in the room.
No. Well, so it is, we're prayerful. We're thankful. And
we feel blessed to be part of all of this.
yes.
I think this is the future, and we can look back or our kids can look back and say, my parents had that when it first got started. They were involved in that, because it will be the wave of the future. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So
we're learning more and more about our bodies every day.
It does bring a wealth of knowledge.
Right. Well, I love that you touched on so many different aspects, that it's not just the physical healing, that it can shift your attitude. It can,
absolutely.
when you bring your cells up to their fully charged state, you're more empowered, you're more positive, you're more, all of these things that are spiritual, emotional, mental, in addition to whatever's going on physical. And so to show up and to allow all of that to happen, and to invite God in prayer, or whatever your version of God, source, the universe is, to assist you in calling your angels and spirit guides and your helpers and whatnot. I just love that. I so look forward to coming out to North Carolina at some point and meeting the two of you. I'm sure when Stephanie watches this, she's going to say, I want to stay at that bed and breakfast. And so
you guys are welcome anytime.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, before we close out, is there anything that we didn't mention or didn't get to that you want to throw in? We'll put your website in with the wherever we post this and everything, so people will have the link right there. But is there anything else you want to share?
Well, one thing that I think is important, that I've noticed is when we leave here, like, because we go see our grandkids in Kentucky, you do miss this energy when you're used to being in it, and then you're not in it. You can tell, your body knows. And when we went to Kentucky this past Christmas, we did book an appointment at Sean's, because I was like craving the energy. I was like, get back in my energy. Yeah. So, I guess more than anything, one of the things that we also kind of try to encourage our clients, if they can come, it is cumulative.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, I knew
people have to have the patience to.
Yes.
They can't come in once and say, well, I didn't have a miraculous experience, because sometimes it takes several visits. We just heard about, and I don't generally talk about other centers, but one of our friends have a center, and they had a gentleman in that has cancer, or had cancer, and he stayed in their center for 48 hours because he was trapped there for some reason.
Snowstorm.
There was a snowstorm. So they had him stay in the center for 48 hours. And when he went back for his checkup, his cancer, there were no cells there. So it's cumulative. It's not just a matter of come for 2 hours and be healed. It's just not like that. And you got to remember too, it is in God's time. So when you come that first time, God might be busy with somebody else doing something. He may not be able to have time to concentrate on you while you're there for 2 hours. But the more you come, the better you feel. And that's the way and it sounds like a sales pitch, because you got to pay to be here, but it's not a sales pitch. It's when you feel better, it doesn't matter what it costs. Whether you're charging $30 an hour or $130 an hour, it doesn't matter. You want to feel better, you're going to pay whatever it costs. Right. But so I just recommend to people to give it more than one chance if they do give it a chance at all. But don't miss out on it. It can be miraculous for a lot of different people. And you might be one of them. And I got to say, you look exactly like one of the characters on Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's excellent. I'll take that. I will definitely take that. There was in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, there's a character that someone said I looked like last year.
Cornelius.
Cornelius,
oh,
exactly.
Cornelius. Yes, right. Yeah. Just great. It made it easy to smile this whole time, because that's what I was thinking about. I couldn't remember if they were dwarfs or elves, but but one of those characters, you look just like him.
Well, I'll take it as a compliment.
It's a compliment, definitely, because I love Lord of the Rings. And I love
I
all those
appreciate
little
that.
people.
I have to say that your commitment and dedication, and this is what I see in so many of the owners of EESystem centers. But in this conversation that we've just had, it really shines through. And Karen, what you're doing for the owners online with that Facebook group is amazing. And again, we do things that we don't get anything out of except the satisfaction of we're supporting people and doing this. And I appreciate the transparency when you said, John, that originally it was, well, this could be a moneymaker, but that
Exactly.
shifted right away. And it's not even an 8 unit. It's not inexpensive to get
No.
everything set up, but then the real work starts after that, because I always say it's commitment of the heart and the soul to offer this up, and it's in the early stages, and
Oh, yeah.
people are just learning about it, and I hope people will be able to watch this video and make their way to your center, the Energy Enhancement System of Charlotte. We'll put the links in and everything else, but thank you so much for everything you're doing in your community and online to just help and support people. It absolutely makes a difference. And I'm looking forward to meeting you both in person one day.
Same goes for you. Absolutely. And
Yes.
thanks for all your help.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dring.
Yep.
We really feel honored to have had this time with you.
I appreciate it. We'll have to do it again, just
Yes,
without
absolutely.
filming it, just to hang out.
That's right. Yep.
We could do it
Yep.
so many times.
Absolutely.
I
No
feel
doubt
like I'm
about it.
getting the energy from
There
the
you go.
screens also. So I'm kind of like, this feels.
Yeah, I tried to get them in there. So, when I was setting everything up, I was like, let's see if we can get the screen in here.
No, you did good. All right. Well, thank you both very much. Many blessings.
Thank you too. Yep.
Okay, be blessed. Have a
Yep.
good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.